day to help address your fear. Now, many of you know from other discussions that there's really a couple of things happening with regard to fear. If we call this one the fear scale and this one the pain scale, so pain is up there and fear is up there. The opposite of pain is obviously pleasure, okay? So put pleasure down on this end of the scale. And the opposite to fear is actually love. Oh, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I don't think love has an opposite, but truth certainly does. Remember, if fear is false expectations appearing real, then what is the opposite to what is false? What is true? Yep. So obviously, when you're in a state of truth, you're also in a state of love. So that's a part and parcel of that. But let's have a look at what happens. Here might be the level of pain we have, and here might be the level of fear we have. Now, if that's the case, you will not deal with any of your pain. If your fear is greater or about your pain, then you won't deal with your pain. So we've got to get at some point to this stage where we're no longer afraid of the pain. That makes sense? We're going to have some emotional pain. You've already got physical pain, but see, with physical pain, you know what we do most of the time? What we do firstly is we pop a few pills, you know, like headache tablets or body aches or whatever. That doesn't work a lot of times because it happens again and again and again. So what we do then is often the pain gets worse, and by now we're looking at operations, right? And we even deal with that, don't we? We even totally contemplate going in to have an operation to deal with something that's now degenerated in our body to the state where it's diseased. Why do we do that? Because we still accept the pain more than we do the fear about dealing with the emotion. That's why we do that, you see. So what we need to do is somehow lessen this fear. And so we need some daily practice, something that we can do in a day that helps us reduce the level of fear. Because what we want to do is we want to get the fear down below our pain level, if you like, below our threshold, so that we will always deal with our pain. And eventually you can see that there's two processes involved here. One is a willingness to experience all of my pain, and the other is the willingness to start accepting emotionally truth. So what can we do daily practice-wise that can address both of those issues? That's really what we want to look at. How do we start addressing the truth issue, and how do we start addressing the pain issue? Right, so you've already seen a few of those things that you can do. Remember, just before we were doing some diaphragmatic breathing. You're breathing into this area of your body, right? So you're feeling into that area of your body. That is allowing yourself to, if you can do that as a daily practice. Now, most of you work or you've got, you do things around home, or it's not easy for you to just lay down and do that. My suggestion is to practice doing that 5 minutes a day no matter where you are at that particular moment. So you might be at work, or you might be out partying, or you might be home, you might be, doing some housework around the house, you might be out gardening, you might be doing all these different things. Just remember, do some breathe. And really start breathing into your diaphragm. So breathing, breathe properly. Breath, breathe. And the next thing is to start allowing yourself to feel the body's sensations. So practice feeling your body, right? So feel your body. Be in your body. You need to stay in contact with your body. What we're doing a lot of times is trying to get out of our body because our body feels painful, so we get out of our body. When you take a headache tablet, for example, you're trying to get out of your body. You're trying to avoid why you've got the headache. Does that make sense? Allow yourself instead, even if you do it for 5 minutes before you take the headache tablet, even if you just do that, that's better. But what you do is you lay down or whatever, or sit down, and just allow yourself to feel that pounding feeling going on. And allow yourself and you can even just ask yourself, what's this pounding feeling all about, But you just allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel it longer each day if you have it, right? Allow yourself to feel it. It's pounding again today. What's going on? Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to feel. And what will happen eventually is you'll break through into actually connecting with the underlying causal emotion if you allow that to occur. So I often feel in pain still. And right at today, I've got terrible pain in my stomach today, really bad pain in my stomach. And it's so painful for me today that I'm finding it hard to stay up here and talk. That's how painful it is. But I'm just breathing, allowing myself to feel. I know what it's about. I'm allowed to feel this. I'm allowed to feel this underlying, this deep emotional grief about my own worthiness. And I need to allow myself to feel that, allow myself to feel that, allow myself to stay connected with this pain. If I stay connected with this pain, I'm going to eventually get to the underlying emotion. If I get out of this pain by using a technique, and some of the techniques are if I eat, or if I go off and do something else, or if I go out and party, or if I go, while I've got this pain, I'm actually avoiding this pain now. So I need to reconnect with this pain, reconnect to my body, don't try to get away from it. Now sometimes when you do that, it feels unbearable. Many of you have felt that, have you? Where you started connecting to the pain and it just feels unbearable, right? And so what we need to do is when that happens, allow ourselves to stay connected with that pain and just cry about how unbearable it is. Just allow those tears to flow about how unbearable it is. Does that make sense? And can we maybe whack on an air conditioner because it's a bit warmish in here now. I showed, yep, thank you. All right, so feel your body. What's next? What do we do next? Whatever emotions come up from that, we want to try to get into the emotion when it's happening. You see, most of the time what we're doing in our daily life is we're going along in our daily life, an emotion gets triggered and we say, I'll put that off to 5 o'clock tonight when I'm away from work, or, do you know what I mean? We're automatically trying to shift it to another time. The problem with that is that we're actually adding another layer on top of the emotion of avoidance, right? We need to allow ourselves to shift our emotions as they occur. Now, if an emotion is occurring, let it occur. Now, in the world that we live in today, this is a very difficult thing to practice, isn't it? Because you're going to get lots of judgment about that, And if you're a woman, you'll get a different type of judgment than if you're a man, right? Because a lot of times a woman is allowed to do that in certain circumstances, whereas the man's not allowed to do that at all, oftentimes. So there's lots of different judgments that you'll get if you're a male and a female about those particular things going into your emotions. So allow the emotion immediately. And that is so hard to practice. So start practicing it with little things, right? If you can do that with little things, you'll be able to grow, and it will start growing inside of you where you'll be able to do that with all of your emotions. Now, of course, we're already drinking water, so that's part of our daily practice, and we're already eating so that we're not avoiding our emotions. That's another part of our daily practice. We discussed those before the break, right? But there's a major daily practice that we need to do, and that is probably the most important one, I feel. Now, what's prayer? Prayer isn't this religious thing, all right, that most people talk about. What it is a longing directed towards your Creator to assist you with whatever it is that you need assistance with. So what do we need assistance with? We need assistance to get into our fear-based emotions. That's what we need assistance with, right? So what we need to do is actually start longing to God about dealing with these emotions. But we have to be longing in a state of purity, right? It has to be a pure emotion. So if my pure emotion is, I would like to avoid my fear for the rest of my life, that's my emotion, I need to talk about that emotion with God. Does that make sense? So instead of saying to God, please help me to feel my fear-based emotions, what I need to be doing instead is saying to God, I want to avoid all of my fear-based emotions.
No. Give me all my fear.
Need a microphone if you're going to speak. Yep.